Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods this morning. And boy, are we going to need them today. As we sit 65 days, 12 hours, 25 minutes, and 25 seconds away from kickoff of the 2019 season, our running back, Zeke Elliott, is going to New York to see the NFL commissioner. Roger Goodell is the judge, jury, and executioner because of the collective bargaining agreement that was made. It doesn't matter if you were arrested or convicted of a crime. You don't have to be. When Roger Goodell was hired, he was hired to do two things: protect the shield and make a lot of money for the NFL owners. Well, you can't argue with a lot of money for the NFL owners because the values of franchises have more than doubled since he became the NFL commissioner. The NFL is everywhere. The NFL is doing the draft and the combine and selling out. And he's also there to change the perception that the NFL is a bunch of thugs. After Ray Rice's situation happened, everything changed. And Zeke Elliott, unfortunately, is in the crosshairs. And it reminds me of growing up. I was in the first classes to integrate in elementary school. I got picked on a lot. I got bullied. And I remember going home and talking to my parents and saying, every day I'm called nigger this, nigger that. They won't leave me alone. I don't want to mess with these people. I just want to do what I'm supposed to do. You know what my dad told me? We went up to school, talked to the principal, and he said, "You want to stop this, son? I tell you what you do. You pick up the biggest stick or a brick and you knock the biggest one upside the head, and I guarantee you will never have a problem again." The principal was like, Mr. Holmes, no, we can't do that. But he was right. And that's where Zeke is. Because here's the reality: the NFL, if you're saying you're doing everything to stop violence and things like that, you make an example of one person. Because you look and say, Zeke Elliott, he's the engine that runs the Dallas Cowboys. He sells more jerseys than anybody else. And if you go after him and make him sit, then that means nobody is above reproach. Then everybody else would be like, damn, they did that to Zeke. They'll do that to me. Let me go ahead and make sure I stay out of trouble. And that's the same thing with Randy Gregory. It's not that nobody else in the NFL smokes weed other than Randy Gregory, but they use him to be the example to make sure the other ones don't make the shield look bad. And the reality is, there's problems with NFL players. They're human like every other group of people. There's always going to be a few. But the instances of things happening outside of the NFL are a lot lower in society in general. So the NFL commissioner, which is one of the things that the NFLPA wants to go after, is some of that power, get some of that back, has Zeke Elliott's as well as the Dallas Cowboys' future in his hands. We already know that Rico Gathers is suspended without pay for one game for weed. We know Randy Gregory is suspended indefinitely for weed. And we know that Zeke is in the crosshairs. The funny misconception that a lot of people have, and it's funny because I talk about Dak Prescott, and everybody's like, "You're an idiot." You think that the Cowboys would be anything without Zeke, and you gotta understand, it's a yin and a yang. It's the Dallas Cowboys formula since they've been a franchise. Great running back and great quarterback. The two of them together win Super Bowls. I'm not sure that without Tony Dorsett that Roger Staubach is winning as many Super Bowls as he did. Without Emmitt Smith, I don't think Troy Aikman is winning Super Bowls the way they did. It's the Dallas Cowboys formula. But the difference between Zeke and me talking about Dak is not that I'm saying that Dak is more important than Zeke. No, on the contrary. The difference is it's kind of indisputable that Zeke Elliott is one of the top running backs in football and the engine that drives the Dallas Cowboys. And that people aren't saying that you could just replace him with anybody, that he's a bum. He's, not actually making those yards. It's the offensive line that's doing it all for him. Dak Prescott, that's the whole narrative of most of these shows, is that Dak Prescott is a dink and dunk quarterback and he's flat out garbage. And I'm trying to set the narrative straight because the reality is we need both of those guys, as well as the defense, as well as the wide receivers. We need the whole team to win. And so it's funny to me because, there's some of you out there that are either just trolls and just like to get a rise, or really just don't know football at all. Because when I did a list, I talked about the draft in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2015. Those 6 years, I went through the quarterbacks that were drafted in there. And out of that, you had 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Nick Foles, who really is a journeyman, who had somebody else do half of the lifting and won a Super Bowl. And you have Russell Wilson, who had the best defense in football. And I'm not throwing shade on those 2 guys because winning a Super Bowl is damn near impossible. But other than that, there were only like 3 other quarterbacks that have even played in the playoffs. And from that list, I said, there was somebody who commented that there's 10 quarterbacks that you would take over Dak Prescott on this list. And I'm like, name them. And one of the people he named was RG3. Really? Really? Are you that dumb that you would take? Let's go through that list. Wait. This is incredible. Sam Bradford, Jimmy Clausen, Colt McCoy, Tim Tebow, Stephen McGee, Joe Webb, John Skelton, Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, Andy Dalton, Jake Locker, Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert, Andrew Luck, RG3, Ryan Tannehill, Brandon Wheaton, Brock Osweiler, Russell Wilson, Nick Foles, Kirk Cousins, E.J. Emanuel, Geno Smith, Mike Gannon, Mac Barkley, Ryan Nesbitt, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Blake Bortles, Teddy Bridgewater, A.J. McLaren, Tom Savage, Johnny Manziel, Zach Mecklenburg, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Brad Hundley, and Bryce Petty. You're telling me there's 10 guys on that list? I would say there's Russell Wilson and Andrew Luck and Andrew Luck's had an injury history that you would say, okay, I see taking those guys. Other than that, I'm not sure you really do. Maybe Cam. The Cam's got a messed up shoulder, but be that as it may. You know what? I tell you what. All you guys that say I talk about my quarterback too much, you know what you can do, because this is a great thing. You can create your own YouTube channel, and you can put out there the information that you want to as you see it. And I tell you what, I'll even go one better. You do that, I'll put you up here, and we can have a debate directly on the topics. In fact, I would love that. I'll be more than happy to bring you on here. So let's do that. If you don't agree, or if you think that I am so far off and just delusional, let's make a channel where you can prove me wrong. We'll do that. All right, so in other news, I love this. We have the hot boys, including DeMarcus Lawrence, working out. DeMarcus Lawrence, we know, had shoulder surgery, but he's out of a sling, definitely, and he's doing these drills. Let's take a look real quick at this, and we'll talk about it after that. You'll see Taco Charlton right there first, and he looks a little bit lean. Is it me, or does he look a little skinny in this? But let's go.
Oh, right there. Let's work out. Don't go right there. Fight too low. Then go. Yeah. Good shit, D-Law. Good shit, D-Law. Good work, D-Law. Good right there. Good work, boy. Good. Good work, boy. Stay tight. Right there. Right that real, bro. Boom. Right that real. Good. Finish it, finish it, finish it, finish it, Here we go.
See him moving both of his arms. That's all you got to worry about, of course, is he has a setback. So you got to love seeing there, running around, flying, arms flying, pumping, everything else, doing hand work and speed work. And we got 65 days until the season begins. 68 for the Cowboys.
Go right there. Fight you lost.
And motivation for him might be my last chance, last opportunity. You got one shot
right there. Bring that rip, bro. Boom, bring that rip.
to get a little bit more of Eli Manning.
Finish it, finish it, finish it,
Eli Manning, if they follow the formula of what they've done, which is going to be better quarterback against the young guy has some torch. There's only be one chance that D-Law gets to play against Eli Manning. And, you know, he wants to send it out with a, you know, nice farewell, so to speak. Well, guys, stay close. If I hear anything on the Zeke Elliott situation, and I guarantee you it's going to be when he lands in New York or anything like that, they'll be following the motorcade and everything to New York, to the NFL offices and things. And I'm sure it's going to be big news. We'll be bringing you here updates. But as always, friends, I'm Mark Holmes, and I want to thank you guys for being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. I'll see you soon.